Welcome to the Market Frontlines. I'm Lyndsay Malchuk. Now, breaking through the static is BioNxt Solutions, and this is a biotech force that isn't just developing innovation, they're redefining what's possible. This is a company taking science from concept to commercialization with a focus and speed most only talk about. And sitting across from me is the man steering that momentum, Hugh Rogers, CEO of BioNxt. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming.
Hi, Lyndsay. Thank you for having us.
Okay, so you have actually built a company that's making some serious noise in the biotech industry. We also know that with that, there's a lot of people that claim that they have the next big discovery, but no one's actually really delivering on that. So my question really about that is what separates BioNxt from the pack and how you're proving that it's not just another science project with the ticker symbol.
Right. So I think what we do, is fairly different than the average biotech. So we're not developing new APIs or drugs. We're not taking those new drugs through regulatory approval and commercialization processes. What we do is we reformulate existing drugs. So it's an opportunity for us to take a lower risk approach that's scalable, it's cheaper, faster, and ultimately more likely to succeed because we're not demonstrating that the drug works or that it's safe. We reformulate these drugs using our sublingual oral dissolvable platform and then drive them through the regulatory process, which is I would say far expedited relative to a conventional drug. So we're not looking at sort of major binary outcomes. Typical biotech, you might spend $100 million and you could fail in phase 3. And that might take you 10 years. We can develop a drug, a reformulation that's patented in a sublingual form, and you're looking at maybe 2 to 4 years and several $1 million. So it's something that a small cap public company can actually take on. And as I said, it's scalable, so there's multiple opportunities. We have a strong patent portfolio that's growing rapidly. So there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of different opportunities because it's a platform technology.
So you're building company, or you built a company around innovation, but innovation doesn't pay investors. We all know that. So how do you turn your breakthrough science into bottom line results, and how fast can that conversion actually really happen here?
Right. So that's a good question. And touching on my point about sort of conventional biotech timelines, we're looking, I think our first product, which is a oral dissolvable cladribine for the treatment of MS, and falls under an umbrella patent that we have for chemotherapy drugs delivered in a sublingual system for autoimmune neurological conditions. So it's quite a broad patent. Our first product, as I said, is sublingual cladribine for MS. This product, because it's our first, we're probably looking at, from patent filing to commercialization at, I would say, closer to 5 years. I think on subsequent programs, we can cut that down to less than 4 years.
Wow, that's amazing and so innovative for sure. Now, biotech, we know, moves fast, and we also know that the money also moves fast. So how are you managing investor expectations all while keeping your long-term vision and your long-term vision intact, actually, to be honest, without pulling off course by, the short-term market pressure and disruptions?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that goes back to, why I think our strategy and our concept is amenable to a small public company. And that's, our trials are not multi-year double-blind placebos. So what we're establishing is bioequivalence. So our product, for example, cladribine, has to be comparable in absorption and blood concentration to the tablet form, which is it's $1 billion drug. It's owned by a major. That trial, that bioequivalence trial, only runs for a couple of weeks. So our news cycles are much faster than the average biotech. As I said, we're not looking at multi-year trials, we're looking at multi-week trials. So results, they come quickly. The cost of running these trials is a fraction of the cost of running large sort of typical phase 2 or 3s. For $250,000, we can run a human trial. over several weeks. So it does work, I think, in this model where there's consistent, steady news flow, and then you start stacking different programs on top of each other, and then you've got sort of 3 or 4 going at the same time with very short research R&D cycles. So I think it does work.
That's incredible. Are you using AI at all?
We are not. We're looking at an opportunity right now. It is public that we're looking to acquire some technology here in North America. There is AI built into that platform. In our European sublingual programs, we are not currently using AI.
Right. Awesome. Okay, so let's talk patents and protection then. So you've built your serious intellectual property around your platform. How bulletproof is your portfolio against competitions from bigger pharma companies that have those deep pockets?
Yeah, that's a good question. In some ways, it's yet to be determined. We certainly don't want to get into any sort of patent litigation. The feedback so far from the European Patent Office has been very positive. We're now at national level filings in the United States, Canada, Japan, Australia, Eurasia, and some other smaller jurisdictions. So we don't see no foreseeable issues so far. And that's on our first umbrella patent for chemotherapy, sublingual, autoimmune neurological conditions. We have another patent family that we'll be filing in the next couple of weeks to be expected and to be announced. And then another patent family within a couple of months. So there's really a portfolio of opportunities here on the sublingual side.
Yeah, you have a lot going on in the bucket.
We do. So
stay tuned for sure. So if everything works out, the science and the approvals and the market timing, I mean, what's your end game here? Are you building BioNxt to dominate independently, or is this more a story of ultimately heading towards a strategic takeover?
Well, I think you have to know what you're good at. And we've excelled in the early stage prototype development, patent filing, and clinical, let's say commercialization pathway. From the point of approval, let's say drug approval on, that's probably not a space we're going to play in. We're much more likely to license to larger players, or conceivably, for example, in the cladribine space, there's a major drug company that owns that market. We have a competitor that's arguably a better product, more efficient API, more precise dosing. About 40% of MS patients have difficulty swallowing. We have an oral dissolvable, so it avoids the issues around tablets. So I think there's an argument to be made that we would be a target for either licensing or some sort of a M&A transaction. I guess that's all I can really say at this point. Whether it's that particular major or one of their competitors, I think with our patent portfolio, we'd be in a strong position to do a deal.
Well, I'm excited to hear more updates coming soon, so please come back.
Thank you, Lyndsay. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Again, that was Hugh Rogers, CEO of BioNxt Solutions, leading a team turning biotech breakthroughs into bottom line potential. And if you're looking for what's next, you might already be staring right at it. BioNxt trades on the CSE under BNXT and on the OTCQB under BNXTF. I'm Lyndsay Malchuk, and this is the Market Frontlines, where the next big moves always start.